My name is Colin Betts. Today is Tuesday, November 8th, 2011. I'm here at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. I'm speaking with Sergeant First Class Harvey Walton, an active duty soldier with the 4th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, about his life and service. I'd like to start off with where you were born.
Born in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay. You lived there all your life?
All my life up into the military. Roger.
Okay. You're a Bengals fan?
Bengals fan. Diehard Bengals fan.
Did you play in high school?
No, I didn't play football in high school. I played basketball for a year, freshman.
Okay. Did you enjoy it, I assume?
Oh, yeah. Loved it.
Do you also watch?
Watch football?
Football or basketball?
Oh, yeah, all sports. And lacrosse, don't matter. If it's sports, I watch it.
Okay. How big was your family growing up?
Just immediate, and I say my aunt, uncle. I had aunts and uncles around, grandparents, well, one grandparent, my grandma, and that's about it. The immediate family and my aunts and uncles and my grandma.
Any brothers or sisters?
Oh, yeah, I had the immediate family, yeah. I got 2 brothers and I got 2 sisters, so it's 5 of us.
Oh, wow, 5?
Mm-hmm.
Older or younger?
Well, I got an older brother, I'm the second, and then a sister right behind me, and I have a younger brother right behind her, and I have a younger sister.
What was it like being an older brother?
It was good for me. I mean, my oldest brother probably didn't like it too much, but it was. I love being an older brother. So.
Now, did you come from a military family?
Actually, I did. My grandfather, he was a Marine. My dad was a Marine. So.
They were both Marines?
Roger.
How did they feel about you joining the Army?
My dad hated it. Like, he didn't know I would actually join the Army, but I just remember when it was in my life when I was younger, he told me don't never go to the Army. No armed forces at all.
No armed forces at all?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it was a different time when he came in, like during the Vietnam era. It's different, so I think he had that perspective, but a lot changed since then, so.
What's changed?
In my opinion, to be honest, it's just back then they wasn't treated how they should be treated as veterans, as heroes. A different time. People frowned their face when they came home, and like somebody said yesterday when they was giving a speech, I talked to a lot of veterans during that era, so they weren't welcome with the same respect that we have now. So, and the benefits wasn't there for them also. It's a lot of benefits that we have today that they didn't have before. And the progression for his rank, upcoming progression, and the stress, the importance of education, they didn't have that back then also. So that changed. So I say that's the majority of it.
What was their reaction when you joined?
Who, my dad?
Your dad, your family?
Well, my mom loved it. My mom loved it. Actually, the recruiter came to our house and she loved it because she couldn't be more prouder. As for my dad, like I said, I ain't seen my dad since I was 11, so I don't know what his reaction would be.
So you weren't close with your dad at all? Or?
Nah, I ain't seen him since I was 11. I'm 32 now, so
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. You enlisted in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
You were 19.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you join?
To be honest, the area where I grew up at was bad, and not just that. I found myself, whereas if I stayed in that area, nothing good was going to come of it. So I always knew I was better than the area that was surrounding me. So I always knew I was going to either go to college. I was going to do something to get out of Cincinnati. So, and pretty much I just joined to travel, to go just experience different stuff. I knew it was something different than Cincinnati out there. So basically that's why I joined to begin with.
What part of Cincinnati?
I grew up in Avondale. It's I don't know how familiar you is with Cincinnati, but Avondale is like a neighborhood. It's kind of a rough neighborhood, but yeah.
Is there lots of unemployment?
It's lots of everything. Certain areas in Cincinnati, I mean, that's everywhere. Unemployment is everywhere. Back then, it's still today. So the area was not just that; it was just bad things happening around the area. It's not no place you'll want to raise your family. So.
Okay. some of the authors that we looked at this year talked about realities of the Army versus preconceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find any difference between what you thought the Army was versus what the Army actually was?
Actually, to be honest, the Army, everything what I expected it to be. Right now, for the future, where it's going now, it's changing now. But when I came in, the Army is everything what I thought it would be. It wasn't no different, you know, because I knew it wasn't how my dad explained it when I was younger. So, I mean, I had a general idea of that because I also had an uncle who was actually in the Army. He wasn't in the Marines or nothing. He was in the Army, and he did 4 years and got out. So I knew it was different, you know, so it was everything I expected it to be.
And what exactly was that? What did you think the Army was?
Well, I thought they'd come straighten me up, discipline, stress discipline. You know, that's the main reason too why I loved it. That's why I joined also, because the discipline part of it, to get you straight, teach you values, not just core values, but important values you need throughout life. So it was everything and more, so in that aspect. So
when you entered and went to basic training, what was the first thing that happened?
Well, first thing that happened was I got on a plane I never flew before. So I got on a small plane, and they flew me from Cincinnati, and I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. So I was on a small plane, scared, you know, it was thunderstorming, so I thought I was going to die, to be honest. I was real scared. So I landed, and basically when I got there, I was nervous, scared again, and basically reception wasn't that bad. We stood in lines a lot, getting BDUs, getting shots, and everything like that. But the first day we left reception to go to the company, it was crazy. It was, I can't even explain it. There was so many things happening at once, and a lot of yelling and a lot of cursing and a lot of everything else. So a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, a lot of exercises. So, yeah.
Who was doing the yelling and cursing?
Oh, the drill sergeants. Drill sergeants were rough back then. So, yeah.
What were they like? How were they rough?
Just rough. They did a lot of different stuff, you know, to try to keep you motivated. I didn't understand it then because for the yelling technique and basically what we call smoke sessions, whereas we're doing a lot of push-ups and sit-ups and yelling and screaming and all that stuff. I didn't understand how that could prepare you later, but now looking back at it, I see what they was doing. So, I mean, basically they was trying to break you down and build you up, and that's what the Army's all about, you know. So seeing how far they can push your limits, seeing where your limits are, just to build you back up. So they did a good job.
Okay. You're a mechanic, right?
Roger.
Are you doing the job you wanted to do?
Yeah, actually, when I came in and sat in a recruiting office, I remember my dad, he was a grunt. So, you know, I said, I don't want to do that because I seen how he was. So I said, anything but being a grunt, I really didn't care, you know, because like I said again, I didn't really join at that time. I didn't think it was going to be a career. I just joined to, you know, get out of Cincinnati and travel the world, see other stuff. So basically I said, anything but a grunt. And they said, well, what about being a mechanic, air conditioning mechanic? Well, actually I came up as a quartermaster, 63 Juliet, but as I made rank, I transferred over to air conditioning mechanic. But I said, sure. I just took whatever they said. So it's basically that simple.
So was that the first thing they offered you?
Yeah, outside of being a grunt, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it probably was other jobs now since I did recruiting. I know it was more jobs out there considering the score I had, but I didn't care. Like I said again, I didn't really join I wanted everything else, but I really wasn't looking at the job wise of it.
Now that sounds probably kind of strange to some people that you joined the Army to work on air conditioners.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly do you work on?
Yeah, that's what I work on.
Is this for vehicles? Or?
Yeah, vehicles, and trailers, everything. So yeah, I've been working on air conditioning for the past 7, 8 years. So.
How would you compare military tools to civilian off-the-shelf tools?
I say just different system. Pretty much the same concept, just bigger, you know, for a starter. Our starter's bigger, our equipment bigger. So you need bigger equipment for the trucks and vehicles we have, but pretty much the same concept. Same like working at a regular mechanic shop or whatever. It's just bigger, pretty much.
Are they more or less labor intensive, or better or worse? Or?
I say when I first came in, it was bad. You know, we used to have tools, and we had toolboxes that wasn't sufficient enough to hold them tools. Whereas I don't know if you ever been. I mean, I know you didn't come in as a mechanic, I don't think, but yeah, it was bad when I first came in. But now it's better now. You know, they got the foam for the tools and the proper placing of them, so it got better. But when I first came in, I say we didn't have enough tools to fix the job. So, but as the years went on, they improved that.
You were married?
Married.
How
Yes.
long you been married?
Been married just as long as my military career, going on 14 years.
Now, were you married when you entered, or did you marry?
Actually, I got married after AIT. Came in basic training. After basic and AIT, I proposed. She was my fiance before I came in. Actually, she was my fiance for a year. I proposed like at 18, and I came in at 19 and got married after AIT.
Why did you get married?
I got married because, I mean, I loved her for number one. I mean, and like I said, I knew her since we were 16, so it just, I don't know, it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. I mean, outside of loving her, I mean, that's about it. I mean,
you were engaged before you went in.
I was engaged.
You got married after training.
After AIT.
Did the Army have anything to do with the decision to get married? Or?
No, I was already engaged before I even committed to the Army. So, okay. Yeah, it really didn't have nothing to do with it. It probably would have prolonged if I didn't join the Army. It probably would have been a couple of years because I had to save enough money to buy a ring and do it right, you know, in the church and make sure everything's good. But besides that, all it did was I was able to have enough money to get the ring and everything I needed for the marriage. So maybe it would have happened anyway.
Okay. So you're a religious person?
Very religious. Well, not very religious, but kind of religious.
What does kind of religious mean?
I don't go to church every Sunday, but I go to church. That's the best way I can explain it.
Okay.
I mean, not very, very religious, whereas everything I think about is about church. No, not like to that aspect, but kind of religious. So that's how I can best describe it.
Do you think soldiers are better off if they go to church, or does it matter?
To be honest, my honest opinion, to me it don't matter. It's different religions, and I'm happy the Army, they real good at that. You know, for as armed uniform services in general, they don't just say, well, you're a Baptist or you're a Catholic or you're this, that, and the other. Or if you have no religion, it's not our place. I say in general, more people should think about that also. Like, it's not our place to criticize people about their religion or what they choose to do. You know, and the Army real good at that. So why I love the organization too, because they real good at blending everybody together, no matter what. So they have a service for every religion background. You know, it's not just, well, you're this and you're that, and we're going to signal you out. No, it don't work like that. So, like I said, religion to me and my personal life is important. But if you choose not to be religious, that's your own personal feelings. I mean, I don't have no heartburn. I wouldn't get mad at because you're not religious. No, it's not. Okay. Nothing.
You have children?
Oh yes, I have children. Yes.
And how old?
9 and 2.
9 and 2.
9 and 2.
Boys, girls?
Boys. 2 boys.
2 boys.
2 boys.
What's it like being a dad of 2 boys?
Basically, when my son, my first one was born, my son Jordan, it was lovely. You know, first child, and spoiled him too much. Spoiled him a lot. But the baby came, and then my wife, she wanted another baby. She wanted to have a little girl, but it came out to be a boy. So I mean, that 7-year gap is tiresome. You forget how energetic kids are. You know, they always run around and playing with him, and he got a lot of energy. So it's just tiresome sometimes, but I love him. So, I mean, ain't nothing more than the world. That's the best thing in the world to happen, that and being married. So,
what do you think your career means to them?
Right now, I think, to be honest, both of them really a little bit too young to grasp it. My 2-year-old, I could tell he probably gonna be real. He probably gonna join because he walk around the house saluting right now. You know, I'm like, you don't salute me. I'm a non-commissioned officer, but yeah, he walk around salute me, and he see it on TV. So I say he got that aspect right now. As far as my older son, I really don't think he really grasps the whole concept that the military.
Doesn't really grasp it?
I don't think so. Not yet, anyway.
Would you encourage or discourage them to join the military?
If they choose to join, it'd be lovely. But the first thing I want them to do is go to college. I didn't go to college till I was actually in. I would say go for a year, see how they like it, you know. And if they choose they don't like it, that they don't want to go into service, hey, that's good. That's even better. So I would encourage it.
Does education augment military career in any way, or
what you saying?
does it benefit a person who's in the military, or detract from it, or?
No, not in my ass. Not to me. I'm just saying I'd rather them go to college just to experience, just to say they actually that experience. It's not so much as education because we get plenty of we stress education in the military. You know, overstress it. You know, so I mean, if it ever a word for it, but we overstress education. So I say I just say the experience, the college atmosphere, just to go say that they actually went to there and they while they was young and you know just the experience, but not just to get education because you can get your education in the military. So
how does that work?
Well, it's different ways. It's all depending on how you as a person want to learn. You can either go online. We have a lot of online classes where your professors work with you. They give you a curriculum, tell you this is what you have to do and put you on a schedule. Or you actually can go attend the colleges on post or off post, whatever you choose to do. So, I mean, as being a supervisor for when I have mechanics or whatever, we'll let them off early. We always benefit them for us getting their education. So we don't make them work late or whatever if they have to go to school. We make sure they go to school. So you can either do it both ways. If you're an in-class person, you can go that way, or if you're an online person, self-paced, you can do it that way.
How is education overstressed, you said?
Well, I say it's overstressed because a lot of people feel that whereas if you have a good education, life is easy. I don't believe in that. It makes it easier, but I don't believe all your problems and everything is perfect because you have a doctorate degree, bachelor degree. Me personally don't believe in that. I say if you have a good education and the skills to go with it, a trade skill, something that can be useful for the workforce outside of just the education piece of it, you'll be more dynamic and you should be successful.
Okay. How do you and your spouse divvy up household responsibilities?
Are you saying like what type? There's a lot of household responsibility on me.
Cooking, cleaning, bills.
Oh, okay. Pretty much I pay the bills. She work also. My wife do CDC. She's child care development on post. So for as the cleaning and the cooking, I cook on Thursdays because that's my early day. So every Thursday I have to cook, and the weekends we alternate for as cooking and cleaning. But outside of that, she do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So.
Okay. How about taking care of the kids?
We both take care of the kids.
Is it equally, pretty much?
When I can, when I'm home at home, it's equal. But if I'm deployed, I gotta go to the field. You know, it's 24/7. Like I'm here now, so she pretty much there by herself. But when I'm at home, it's equal. So.
How does your family prepare for deployment? Deal with that?
Well, I'll tell you a story. Just my wife in general. When I first came in, like I said, I got married after AIT. I had to go to Korea for a year. At that time, it was you couldn't take your spouse. It was too dangerous for your spouse to go at that time. So basically, she had to stay in Cincinnati and handle things and everything like that. So I think I ain't gonna say she got comfortable with it, but she was more than the average person. She was better at handling things on her own than the average person, considering that experience. So that actually helped us out a lot when it was time for me to deploy, the times I did. So everything run good. Like I said, and get back is some adjustments that had to be made. But my son, when I deployed though, my oldest son, he didn't take it so good. So outside of that, it was good. Besides that point,
What happened with him?
well, basically, like he was just born for number one, and we was in Germany, and he just was born, and then he got used to me being around, and then had to deploy. So he basically, I say as kids do, they throw little fits or whatever, you know. So it was kind of an adjustment process, and when I got back, he was kind of like adjusting me being back. It took a minute, I say about 5 months, 6 months for him to get back adjusted. But once I got back and doing my regular stuff, it was good. So
How did you guys adjust?
basically, I just had to sit down, talk to him, tell him. I had made him a videotape actually before I left, telling him I loved him and everything. And my wife used to play it to him all the time before he went to bed. So just let him know I'm still around. But when I got back, he wasn't talking. He was just going to the party. He was advanced, so he went to the party like he was like 1 year old going to the party. But when I got back, he was walking and talking, and everything was different, you know. So I had to just sit down and talk to him and let him know that Daddy ain't going nowhere for a while. And it was just pretty much he sent me around, getting warmed up back to me, and things changed. So
It sounds like when you were deployed, you missed a lot of his life.
all right.
How did that feel?
To be honest, at this time, like I said, I was what, E5 promotable. I knew that comes with the territory. I mean, I knew before then because me and my wife, we didn't have kids when I actually joined it first. So the kids came later, and I knew that was part of the territory. That's just one of the sacrifices you have to make. I mean, in my opinion, because in this profession, you gotta understand that when you raise that right hand, that's 99% chance you're gonna deploy or you're gonna be going away from your family from some point in time. So it's just something you have to deal with, you know. So and try to make up that time when you get back as the best you can. So.
Do you live on post or off post?
I live on post.
What are your quarters like?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's the best. On post housing changed too. Like I said, I've been in for 14 years, or going on 14 years. So the quarters is outstanding now. You know, two car garage. I have 4 bedrooms. I only got, like you said, 2 kids. They each got their own room. I have a dining room, a kitchen, a living room. I mean, it's more than enough in my opinion. So it's real nice.
Okay. We talked about your background. I want to talk about morale and coping skills a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers have different ways of relieving stress. What do you like to do off duty?
I go to the gym, lift some weights, talk to my wife about every subject. Like she's like my best friend, so me and her talk about a lot of subjects. Play with the kids. That's about it.
She's your best friend.
Yeah, because we talk about everything. Like to be honest, I mean we've been in like 19 years old. We was married, so all we had was us two. So she know everything. So talk to her about everything. So I enjoy talking to her.
Do you work out with friends or?
I work out. I usually have battle buddies sometimes during PT sessions, but off duty time I work out by myself.
Okay. Has any of that changed after deployments, or?
For us talking to each other.
Or, what do you like to do to relieve stress?
Oh no, because when you deploy, you can lift weights down there too. I mean, weights is universal, so it don't. No, I was more in shape down there than I am now, but no, nothing changed at all. I mean, as far as talking to my wife, of course that changed some, but and the kids portion, of course, but for lifting weights, no, ain't it? No.
How did that change with your wife?
Well, I couldn't talk to her every day. You know, like I said, I come home and talk to her every day, so that changed. She wasn't there, you know. I could talk to her every day, so that changed a little bit. So.
Describe your morale before, during, after deployment. Did that change?
I ain't gonna say my morale changed because I always had high morale, you know. So I ain't gonna say my morale changed. It's just after deployment I got more focused. I was a more focused soldier after deployment at the task. So.
What do you mean more focused?
Whereas I didn't never take the Army lightly, but it was just like until actually something happened, you know, like you being in that experience, it changed me. So everything is it's serious now. It's more serious than I took it before.
No more fun and games?
Well, it's always times for fun and games, but at certain training, whereas when you're a soldier or you're a private, you may listen to like, I say 60% of when you need to be listening to 100%. That's what I mean. Like I got more focus. Everything that we train on, I got more serious and start doing research and actually understanding more of it. At the time before, like I said, 60% I'll be listening, the other 40% be thinking about something else. So I got a lot more focus after deployment.
What about your unit? Good morale, high morale?
The unit I'm in now? Or are you saying past units or?
Past units that you deployed with?
Well, we got, I deployed at different units. So the first time I deployed, I was in Germany, First Infantry Division. And before we left, we was already kind of close, but not a real close-knit unit, I say, in my opinion. But after the deployment or during the deployment, everybody was close. So it brought us all together even more closer. So I say deployment actually did that for us. The same thing when I went to Afghanistan, same thing. I just got to the unit. I went off to BNOC to school, and then we deployed to Afghanistan, and we got more closer afterwards. So,
your current unit, 4th MEB, what about their effectiveness? Do you think they're ready to go?
Is we ready to go to be deployed? Is you talking about my unit? Is you talking about my company in general, or are you talking about unit as a whole? Because I only can talk about my company. Yeah, my company ready. Like we ready. Bravo company ready. So.
Okay. How do leaders instill esprit de corps?
Basically, one thing I learned as a private, esprit de corps, like as far as the morale and all that, I don't tell my soldiers pretty much something I ain't doing myself, and I pick them up. I don't say drop and give me 20 or do 20 extra push-ups if I'm not doing 20 extra push-ups. I try to lead by example in that aspect. So I say that builds high morale and a lot of respect, and they look at you different when you're actually doing what they're doing. So.
Okay. HUA is an often used Army slang word. What is HUA?
Well, it could mean a lot of stuff. Some soldiers say HUA just to get NCOs out their face. Some soldiers say HUA as motivation to push them over the limit. HUA is just a universal term. It can be used as anything, So HUA just mean I understand you. Okay, it got a lot of different meanings. So, I can't just narrow it down to one because it can mean a lot of different things depending on the situation.
What are situations you used
HUA when basically the battalion commander or sergeant major is there and first sergeant is there and trying to pump you up, or as I just okay HUA, so basically like more as a pump you up, more as a, I guess, cheering, like you understand what they're talking about, and
so
getting pumped up.
It's acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledgement. Yeah,
is it
pretty much.
Also motivation?
Yeah, and more to get motivation. Right.
Okay. The Army is experimenting with caffeinated beef jerky to go into MREs. What do you think of that? Does that sound good?
This is the first time I ever heard of that. I don't. You said decaffeinated?
Caffeinated.
Caffeinated beef jerky. So to keep you.
A month ago, they just announced that
they're gonna put caffeine in the beef jerky. Yeah. I really don't think nothing of it. I don't know. I really don't have no thought on that. There's no thought.
Okay. That's okay. How have MREs changed over the years?
Oh, they got better. They taste better. The taste, more variety. When I came in, it was a particular type. Everybody hated them, but now they got a lot more variety in them. They try to keep it like regular meals, so you can find a lot of different MREs these days. So it's a different variety, and they got vegetarian. They didn't have that when we came in, so those personnel who don't eat meat and stuff like that, they got vegetarian MREs for them. So, and breakfast MREs. So it's a lot of different MREs out there now. So I just say the variety,
Okay.
more variety. Yeah, I like them when I'm deployed or in the field. I don't like them when I just eating them when I'm back at the rear. No.
Okay. How have your units addressed post-deployment transition?
You talking about after we get back?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when you get back, you take a assessment, a post-deployment assessment, seeing you have any illnesses or any injuries or things of that. You SRP, of course, and basically you have a bunch of classes, and they get you back oriented with your family. They schedule classes for that. Bring your wife in there, so you have some counseling if you choose to. If y'all had problems or whatever, they offer counseling for it. What else they do? Like I said, they just try to create an environment where you get back closer to your family. So, and you do answer a bunch of questions about illnesses and injuries. So,
were they doing this when you first deployed?
I deployed in OIF too. So yeah, when we got back, actually we did it.
That was your first deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is SRP?
Soldiers readiness process. It's like getting you ready, like shots, taking shots. Ask you a bunch of questions if you're mentally stable, and you do this before you deploy and after you deploy. It's a pre-deployment and a post-deployment, so you do them both. And it's basically just ask you a bunch of questions, making sure you updated on your shots, your dental is ready, your SGLI, your wheel, everything, your benefits is ready. So that's life insurance, SGLI, but making sure you're ready for that, your will is updated, making sure your household is in order. So basically they do a good job for us, that getting you ready before and after, I feel.
What was homecoming like?
It was beautiful. It was different both times, you know. Yeah. When I was in Germany, homecoming, basically I deployed with an aviation support battalion. We was attached to them with the First Infantry Division, and we was in Ansbach and Kaderbach, and we came in, and our plane was basically the first airplane to fly out of Spiker, FOB Spiker, Forward Operating Base Spiker, and we helped build that up from the ground up, and we flew from Spiker all the way to Germany. So I loved that. That was like the best redeployment ever, and we flew right back to Germany. And so when we touched down, we was on buses, and we picked up our bags from the airport, and basically the buses dropped us off in front of the hangar where usually the aircraft be, and the hangar doors open, and it was banner, everybody cheering, and they had slides there for you. It was beautiful. Like, I felt like the president. It was beautiful.
How long was that plane ride?
We had a layover. I think it was in this time. I think it was in Iceland. We stopped in Iceland, and then we went there. It wasn't that bad. It was like I say about half an hour, I say, and then we flew back to Germany somewhere. So it's about 8 hours. It wasn't that bad. Okay. It wasn't that bad from Germany. It wasn't that bad.
Okay. One of our sources, excuse me, talked about what matters most to soldiers is they feel their country and their community supports them. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that your community, your nation supports you as a soldier?
Oh yeah. Everywhere I've been, it's been good support. Me personally, so I never had no bad feelings for the communities. And I said I've been everywhere, different communities, different places, overseas, Korea, Germany, everywhere pretty much, and everybody supported what we did. So I never ran into no negative feedback with that. So.
In what ways do you feel supported?
Basically, just all aspects. Just as something as simple as a handshake. Thanks for what you're doing. Really appreciative of what we do. You know, so just basically simple as that. You know, and they always like you go to certain restaurants. I know they always used to, even though we try to pay, they say no, somebody then paid for you. We go in uniform, and you know, so that aspect also. I mean, it just always good support. So.
And this happens everywhere?
Everywhere I've been. I mean, I'm not saying I'm lucky, but I never had no negative feedback. Nobody ever addressed me. All I can speak for is just myself. So since I've been in, I never had any negative feedback for us. Anybody like, what are you doing? And like I said, I never had that. Even when I was recruiting, because I recruited for 3.5 years. I was a recruiter. So even going to the family houses, even if they didn't want their kids to join, I explained to them what's good about the Army, or what's bad about the Army, you know, whatever they have questions, they never treated me like get out of my house or cussed at me or anything like that. So I say in all aspects, I had a good experience from the community. So
Okay. I want to move on to some questions about civic duty.
okay.
Today's election day.
Mhm.
What do you think is an American's most basic civic duty or expression of citizenship?
You saying for the country what they can do better, or are you saying like what's the best thing you can do is?
Well, what would be the most basic thing? Voting or serving or running for election or?
To me, serving. I say everybody should serve. Everybody, in my opinion.
Everybody should serve?
Everybody.
Okay. What do you think of the draft?
I really don't have. There's no pros or cons with it with me for as a draft. It really doesn't. I really don't really have no thoughts of it. If they leave it the way it is for a volunteer, I say it'd be better because you're really not forcing nobody to do something they don't want to do. I don't believe in forcing people to do something they don't want to do. So I say leave it just the way it is. But if the service need more people and a lot of people not stepping up, they have to use it. It's cool too. So
Okay. I'll go back to that here in a minute. Service is admirable. I want to talk about your unit and its mission now.
okay.
About 5 or 6 years ago, the Army began restructuring called modularity.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Basically, to explain it, I mean, to try to simplify it, I say it's like, whereas for us in my field, I'm gonna just take my field for example. Whereas when I first came in, it was more battalions for us in the maintenance field. We had our own battalion. Now, pretty much we're an element of different BCTs, that's brigade combat teams with different elements for us. We have medical, we have a maintenance field in there, we have pretty much everything you need to deploy just out of a battalion. So basically they combined everybody together and brought them together as in one battalion, whereas before it was spread off. That's pretty much basically it. I mean, they just restructured it. I mean, from where we was individuals to where they brought it all together. So
does that mean your battalions are bigger than they used to be?
Yeah, basically we just a part of a bigger battalion. You know, like it's a BCT, they call them brigade combat teams. Whereas like they can just say that BCT, like first they have, say for instance, I'm used for example Fort Stewart. They have 4 brigade combat teams. So that one, they can say first brigade combat team is going to deploy. They have every element they need to deploy with. They don't have to go attach to different battalions and say, give me so many mechanics, give me so many fuelers, give me so many of this MOS or whatever. They have everything they need to function. So they can just say, the first BCT, y'all ready to deploy, y'all deploy. So
they don't have to get attachments from somewhere else,
right.
Or detach elements.
Right, because they already had it in their brigade, in their part of their brigade.
Do you think it works?
Oh yeah, I say to me it works in a lot of different. It works all around, in my opinion, because you know, for number one, you've been with the unit more. You see everybody, all y'all part of the same brigade, so the cohesion is already there. So when you deploy, you already feel comfortable with the unit you've been with because y'all been together for so long anyway. Number two, you don't have to pull from different elements and then have to refill those elements, you see? So, I mean, and then when you get back, them same people, they either go back to the same MOS or go different places, but it'll never be the same for its cohesion and everything else. I just say for the cohesion aspect of it, everybody work together, everybody know each other. So to me, it's better. It's better. It's something that we should have been looked at, in my opinion.
So what is unit cohesion?
Basically, it's like just being together like a family. It's one big happy family, pretty much. That's what I call it. I mean, it's to me that's what it is. Just being together, one big happy family.
Okay. The mission of the 4th Maneuver Enhancement Brigade is what?
Well, it changed from CSMRF, which was homeland, defending the home front if a disaster happened. That's where we was October 1st and before October 1st. Now it's just regular mission for us, just regular deployment if we get on a PAX chart or plane and ready to deploy. So, it's just active pretty much. We back in the regular army fight.
Okay. What does C-SMRF stand for?
I knew you was gonna ask me that. I don't know. I should know, but I don't know exactly what it stands for. I just know that if a disaster happened anywhere in the states, it's our job to respond to that if we're part of that region.
And what does that response entail?
The response until we deploy to wherever the disaster happened in Missouri, or it could be anything from earthquake to anything. Natural disaster, any disaster, pretty much, we have to deploy and lend our services. So,
okay. What is full spectrum operations?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what full spectrum operations is. I don't know. Okay. I can take a guess at it, but I really don't know, and I don't want to guess. So I don't know.
You're a maintenance platoon sergeant?
Actually, now I was maintenance platoon sergeant. Now I'm the first sergeant now.
Now you're a first sergeant?
Yeah, I'm the first sergeant of the company.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What does that mean to be? First, describe what being a platoon sergeant.
Well, platoon sergeant, you have just your platoon, pretty much 30 people, and now since October 1st, basically our company had transitioned. Whereas we were like 130 something strong, 135 strong, and had 4 platoons, we're going to 68 strong. We're going to be about 68, so it's cut in half. So we have 2 platoons instead of 4, and since I'm the first sergeant of them 2 platoons, so instead of worrying about 30 people, which I had before, I worry about 67. Well, right now we're about 124, but we going down to 67.
So you were in the middle of transition?
Roger. Yeah.
Is that an easy thing, or is that
it's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to sit up here and lie. It's hard because the unit, basically we have to do a lot of things. Everybody, when they lifted, we was basically fenced in. And what that means is that when we was on mission for the C-SMRF, we couldn't go nowhere. We couldn't come down on orders to go nowhere else. PCS, permanent change of station, or you couldn't deploy nowhere else. You basically was locked in to the 4th MEB, to the mission of the C-SMRF. But when the C-SMRF mission changed and we came off of that mission, they lifted the lock-in, the fence, and now everybody's coming down on orders, going to Korea, all these different places, and you have to make sure their NCOERs, which is a evaluation report, is up to date, or their awards that they're going to get is current, and it's just a lot of admin work that got to be done. So
what's the difference between being a first sergeant and being a platoon sergeant?
Pretty much more responsibility. That's the biggest difference. More meetings, more responsibility, and if things ain't right, you're the first one to get it. So.
Excuse me. Some people have a daily rhythm. They get up, shower, check emails, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any sort of
a battle rhythm?
Yeah,
basically I wake up early. I like to be, I'm always early. Even my alarm clock is a half an hour early, so I hate being late. But basically I get up. Now I'm first sergeant, I tell you, on a daily basis. I get up, I shower, get ready for PT. But before we have PT, I do my meetings with my other platoon sergeants, and we talk about what's going on for the day, what the focus is, and then we do PT, and pretty much we go on and conduct our daily activities for us, our work activities. So that's pretty much it.
Is it usually the same every day, or does it change every day?
It changes, depends on a day. Like Thursdays is our training days, whereas we focus on sergeant time training, whereas we training for all types of stuff, different stuff. Wednesday is usually our command maintenance day, PMCS, preventive maintenance checks, where we're doing PMCS on all our vehicles and making sure our vehicles are good to go, our trailers is good. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday is pretty much we supporting the rest of the battalion for their vehicles, making sure their vehicles online and good to go. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
How do you instill esprit de corps?
Basically, just leading by example. Pretty much, like I said before, I think just leading by example. That's the best way to do it. Don't ask the soldiers something you're not as a leader, because I only can speak like where I am now as a non-commissioned officer. I wouldn't ask a soldier to do something I'm not doing myself. I'm not going to gripe at a soldier or get on a soldier for something I'm not doing myself. So just leading by example is the best way. I know I have a lot of respect when I was coming up for my NCOs who led by example instead of a non-commissioned officer telling me to do something and they chose not to do it themselves. So.
Okay. You talked about meetings with your sergeants.
Mm-hmm.
How effective are formal communications like meetings and announcements versus informal communications like email, rumor?
Me personally, I don't like the email. Sometimes you have to do it. I mean, because it's a lot of things that happen nowadays, and a lot of other people use emails instead of having a lot of meetings. But I know as in this position in First Zone, we have a lot of meetings, so I have to go to a meeting a lot of times. But as for the platoon zone, we have one every day, at least one every day. Sometimes two if need be in the evening. But in the morning, we always have a meeting and discuss what we're going to. And it'll never be by no email. It's always face to face because you want feedback. You want to look at a person and see the feedback and see if they have suggestions. It just nowadays it's too much email, in my opinion. It's too much. You need to get outside of using a lot of email because there's a lot of miscommunication can come with that. So,
what happens when there is miscommunication?
Basically, you fix it. You talk about what happened. Just pretty much we do what a lot of things what we call like an AAR, after action review. You talk about what happened, how could have been better, and you improve on getting it better. So, I mean, like I said, the Army real good for that on every aspect, not just for its training. We use that on every aspect. So we always doing AARs and seeing how we can improve and get better, what happened, and improve on it. So.
What do you do with rumor?
I squash it at my level. It ain't no rumor. There's no rumors. Like I squash it. If it's rumors, I squash it. Like
how do you do that?
Basically, I tell them like pretty much that rumor ain't no. We don't have time to sit there and play high school games. We're adults. We're in the Army. It's the profession we're in. We don't have time for rumors, and I leave it at that. I squash any rumors, any talking bad about a non-commissioned officer or any non-commissioned officer talking bad about soldiers. I squash it, and you kill rumors by, like I said, again, going back to what I was saying about Esprit de Corps, leading by example. I'm not out there telling people like something personal, a soldier come to me and explain personal issues. It's my job as being the non-commissioned officer, the top non-commissioned officer in the company, to keep that confidential, and not letting a rumor start. And when you hear it, it's your job as a non-commissioned officer to squash it and say, soldier, you don't know what you're talking about, stop doing it. And it's pretty much that simple.
Okay. The the Guidon is the newspaper for Fort Leonard Wood.
Right.
There's also the Army Times and Stars and Stripes, which have a military audience. Do you read these papers or follow other news?
Well, I used to when I came in. I used to read a lot of Army Times all the time. I used to. I really don't have the time to do it. Like I said, I got a 2-year-old, so my time is like limited. Outside of working out and playing with my 2-year-old, my family, I really don't have time to just like on field days, like where I'm away and the field. Of course, I'll pick up a newspaper and see what's going on, but I don't really have the time really to do it now, really. So.
Okay. When you're deployed, how does communications work with home?
As far as me, I talk at least try to talk once a day, if not once every other day. Whenever I can get a chance, I talk and pretty much let my wife speak. I really don't speak about what's going on with me. I mean, because really I care about what's going on with them. If she asks me a question, what's going on, I'll answer it. But pretty much I just let her vent and tell me what's going on, because that's the most important thing in my opinion. I mean, what's going on back there. So
it's more important to you when you're deployed to let her vent?
Yeah, because like I got battle buddies and everybody else. If I need to vent, if I need to do some venting, I can go talk to. Like I said, me and my wife are real close, so she really don't have. She got friends, but they're not as close as I am. So I know if she need to vent, she need to I'm gonna listen, you know. So I say, yeah, that's very serious. So pretty much I'm just listening and responding how I need to respond. That's pretty much it.
Do you normally email or write? Or
No, we talk. We talk. We don't. I mean, now we text a little bit, but like I said, I'm more of a face to face. I'm not really a email person. We talk a lot, and if I can't, I might say I'm gonna call you tonight if I'm emailing, you know, when I'm deployed. But I'm always gonna have a phone conversation. It's not we don't do emails too much.
Are communications easier nowadays?
It is if you like doing that. I mean, it's easy if you got I say technology is easier. So we have what we call virtual VCT, virtual, I don't know, command television, something like that. Whereas you actually see the person you're talking to. So I mean, when you deploy it or whatever. So yeah, it's easy in that aspect. Yeah.
Okay. You said you don't really follow the news a lot. Do you think?
No, I follow the news. I don't read the Stars and Stripes or the Guideline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I follow the news though. Yeah, not local news, but I follow world news, things of that nature.
So, what's your favorite sort of news source or stories? Or
to be honest, I really don't have no favorite news stories. I don't. I mean, I know what's going on, but I really don't have none favorite that, you know, that I'm liking. So I don't have no favorite news stories.
Do you think the popular media tells it like it is, or is it an agenda?
Well, some of them do. I mean, some aspect of the media do tell it like it is, and I say some don't have a clue. So it depends on what stations or whatever. That's all stations. Today, I say things are. It's a lot of media access. It's a lot of media access and a lot of people's lives today. Whereas before, back in the early days, where I mean, it's a little bit too much personal. A lot more media today. It's a lot of media everywhere. So. I say we need to cut down on that a little bit. I mean, it's good to know, but people know too much about every little thing. Everything is a rumor out there these days, so you can't really get caught up into that, you know. So.
Okay. Training is important, so let's talk about that.
Okay.
Do you feel the Army training prepared you sufficiently for each of your deployments?
Oh yeah, yes I do.
And how's that changed? Has it gotten better?
To me, it got better. I mean, because the lessons learned, we learned before. Like I said, again, we real good at doing the AARs and really having meetings on the lessons learned or how we can improve. So before, I said OIF2, when I went, there was a lot of things we didn't have that we needed for as plates for our IBA plates. To protect us. We didn't have up-armored vehicles. We was in soft-shelled vehicles. And like I said, and the generals came and everybody came and went to the FOBs, which is the Forward Operating Base, and they said, what do you guys need? You know, what do soldiers need? And we expressed what we needed and it got fixed, you know. So I say just the lessons learned in general prepared us better, you know. Today, without them lessons learned or us going through it, I don't know where we'd be at today, you know. So I say, yeah, today is way better than it was before. We know a lot more than what we did then. So.
Does the Army react quickly to implement changes?
Yeah, as far as deployment changes, is real quick. Some changes take a little bit more time. Not deployment changes, but I say back on the home front, garrison changes. It's a little bit more time with that because there's so many demands for deployment, you know. So I say the priority, what the Army look at first is if you deploy downrange, you're going to have more assets to the things you need first before the people back here at garrison. So that's just priority, but they try to look at all things.
You said you didn't have the appropriate equipment when you
Right.
first went to
Right.
Iraq.
Right.
What sorts of things were you lacking?
I was lacking plates for my IBA, for my flight vest. We were lacking up-armored vehicles. We was in soft-shell vehicles. We was lacking FBCB2s, which is basically like what you would call a GPS in the civilian world, pretty much. We was lacking a lot of stuff that's important nowadays. We was basically we went down there as a whole division, and it was no escorts. It was like I said, it's a lot of things we learned, but we was lacking everything pretty much because it was just starting off and it was still kind of rough. So we didn't have a lot of things that we needed, you know. So we didn't have no Huskies, no things that detect IEDs, improvised explosive devices. We didn't have none of these things. So we just was out there. So
how did you deal with lack of equipment?
Basically, you never knew. Because in the early part of it, you never knew that you was lacking this equipment. You know, you never knew because it was a different war. It wasn't like when I came in. Basically, we were still on the jungle campaign for us Vietnam training and doing things for us that. I mean, a lot of NBC. That's basically how we trained in the woods, camouflage, defensive positions. And so when actually Iraq and Afghanistan actually kicked off, it was different for everybody. So you really didn't know that you were supposed to have these things. Now looking back at it, I mean, it always take you going through something to improve it, you know. So looking back at it, you wish you would have had them things like, ooh, I don't know how I made it without them things, you know. But, I mean, we did, so.
Okay. Soldiers nowadays go through pre-deployment cultural sensitivity training. Have you gone through any kind of training like that?
No.
No?
No. I don't even know what that could say. What is that?
Were you taught anything about the people?
Oh yeah. Culture change. Yeah. We taught the dialect, the pretty much the depending on where you at, whether you're going to Iraq or Afghanistan, they teach you try to teach you some of the language. You don't grasp everything, but they try to teach you certain words and certain things to do, certain mannerisms they have for as what to look out for or whatever. So yeah, you get a class on that, Roger.
Was there an attempt to do this before you went to Iraq the first
time? I don't think we did that before. No. Nah, not the first. Not Iraq. No. When I was in Afghanistan, we did, but Iraq, no. I don't even think it was an attempt to do it. To be honest, I don't think we did that.
Were the realities downrange different from any preconceptions you might have had or anything you were taught differently?
No, not really. It's pretty much how I thought it would be. I mean,
what did you expect when you went to Iraq?
I expect to be hot. I mean, that's the first thing I thought. I expect to be hot. I expect to be in a hostile situation where we get mortared. I expected that. And I expected that's about it. I expect some hostile situations. I expect the convoys there to be kind of rough, and pretty much it was just how I thought it would be. So
what about Afghanistan?
Afghanistan, I thought it'd be similar to Iraq, which it was in some ways, but it wasn't. So there I learned a lot. It was different. Whereas convoys and we going up hills and a lot of rough terrain. I wasn't expecting so much rough terrain there. And the reaction of the people too is different in Afghanistan. It was different.
Okay. I'm going to come back to this subject.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I want to talk about leadership. Since you are a leader. Describe good and bad qualities of a leader.
I say, again, going back to what I was saying about esprit de corps, leading by example, that's a good leader. Don't ever ask your soldiers to do something you're not willing to do yourself or haven't done. Good leadership is basically when a soldier gets into trouble, for example, whatever it may be, and he gets his punishment, UCMJ, you have that soldier get that punishment, and then after that punishment is served, start a clean slate. A lot of leaders like to hold on to grudges off of past what a soldier may have done, but if you do that, you're not giving that soldier a chance to improve. You can't sit there and harp on the past. It's over with. It's done with. The soldier did his punishment, wherever the punishment may be, and you move on from it, and you build that soldier back up. You don't just keep on tearing him down. I've seen a lot of that when I came in earlier. It was rough. So it was like once you mess up, you didn't want to mess up, period. But if you did mess up, a lot of that tearing you down. But a good non-commissioned officer don't let that happen. He like I said, pick that soldier back up and and put him in the right path. So that's a good leader to me. If you're doing them two things and marrying the non-commissioned officer creed, you'll be a perfect non-commissioned officer.
Can you recite the creed?
Oh yeah. If you're gonna ask me to recite it right now,
if you want to, you can.
I'll save
leave it up to you.
I'll save it to the end. I'll do it at the end. It's kind of long, so I don't know how long the answer is gonna be. So I'll save it to the. We got time. I'll do it.
Okay. A lot of people may not know what UCMJ is. What is that?
Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's pretty much our articles, the way we force punishment that we receive. It's just basically our military justice system. So the way soldiers receive punishment, the legal system.
Who is your mentor?
Oh, I have a lot. I have about, I say, overall, it's he's now a warrant officer now. It'll be he was back then Sergeant Owens. He's warrant officer Owens now, and I say he is CW2 now. And I say Chief Lecker, he was a NCO back then, but he's a CW4 now. He's a warrant officer also. So, and I have two more. It's Soren Forson and Soren Davidson.
What about them make good mentors?
Because they emphasize what I just said. Pretty much they led by example every way. And basically, when I came to the unit, they showed me what was right and wrong and how to improve. Not just improve towards my soldier aspect, made sure I went to school. And that's important. Like a lot of NCOs, we get wrapped up in the mission, but you really got to understand, really take the time and push your soldiers to go to school. Like it shouldn't be an option. I say it should be mandatory, and they made that mandatory for me. So I didn't have a choice, and they don't do nothing but help them out in the long run. So.
Okay. So education is stressed.
Oh yeah,
as you said.
It was. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. How do you integrate soldiers to a unit?
Basically, depending on when they first come, at this level where I'm at now, they in process, they meet, they have a sponsor. And the sponsor is somebody within a section, show them around, guide them, let them know about the post, what's happening, pretty much about the platoon. And they meet everybody, they get counseled on what to do, what the unit expects of them. And basically, we pretty much ask them if they have any problems, any issues. Feel free to come see us. And like I said, pretty much they get real close with their section, depending on which section they're going to. So that's their first level. That's who they meet at first. And depending on your rank, it's the same thing. We match them up with the same rank with somebody equal rank or higher rank, so they feel comfortable talking to them about, any problems they may have or whatever. And then after they meet their platoon sergeant, their squad leader, and everybody like that, they come see me, and then they go see the commander. So.
Okay. How does sponsorship work?
Sponsorship from before they even get to the unit. Basically, we have a list of people who's coming to our unit, say, for instance, like 90 days out. And I have the soldiers email them or call them and make sure wherever they're at, if they have any issues, have been having issues, do they know where they're going? For as the post they're coming to, they know how to get there. Any issues that they might have when they get there, do they have any in mind for us? If they live in the barracks, they're gonna live in the barracks if they single soldiers. But if they're married and got kids, how they've been looking at the housing on Fort Lindenwood, things of that sort. Before they even get there, we email them in and make sure they have a good contact number if they need any help. So it starts right there. So, and it's like 90 days out, so 3 months out.
Okay. How do you mentor soldiers personally?
When I on different levels, I can speak. When I was a non-commissioned officer, like I said, as a sergeant, I mentor. Like I said, it's more hands-on. It's more them watching me doing the right thing, and hopefully it rub off on them. But if it didn't, and some it did, and some it didn't. So some I had to spend a little bit more personal time, depending on the situation, showing them what right looked like. So that's when I was a sergeant. And when I was a staff sergeant, a little bit more as far as mentoring was pretty much the same aspect for leading by example, but it was more of a teaching mode. Instead of just showing them, actually explaining to them the concept, why we do these things, or why it's all part of a bigger purpose. It's not just small, because some soldiers may feel that what they're doing is not important it's our job to make sure that they understand that it is important, and no matter how small or different the job may be, it all connects all as one. So as I got up in rank, I started focusing a lot more on that. So,
okay. Do you mentor soldiers directly, or are you more involved with the other NCOs in your?
And now I'm at my place now, like I said, as a platoon sergeant, I try to let the I mentor the NCOs. I mentor the ones who's underneath me. As you get more rank, your involvement with actually the soldiers in general is less and less. The higher rank you go, it's just how it is. And I know when I was a non-commissioned officer as an E5, well, as a sergeant, I didn't want no staff sergeant really getting in my squad, telling me how to run my squad, especially if I'm doing right. I consider that like I'm not doing my job. I be kind of hostile towards that, So I try not to get in their way. As long as they're doing the right thing and and educating the soldier on what they need to educate them on, I'm not that one to get in their business and say, you're going to do it this way and give me your soldiers. It's basically, they know their soldiers better than I do. So it's more mentoring the non-commissioned officers than the soldiers. And then as you get higher and you be first sergeant, it's more mentoring the platoon sergeants, how to be a good platoon sergeant with their soldiers. So it's just different levels depending on your rank. So.
Okay. Well, now that we talked about leadership, I want to shift focus to 9/11 a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What is a global war on terror?
What's my definition of it?
Your definition. What does that mean?
It's pretty much basically wherever terrorism at, we gonna be there taking the fight to it. I mean, in a nutshell, wherever it's at, it's global, the whole United States, wherever, the whole world, globally. Wherever terrorism is, that's where we'll be at taking the fight to it. So that's what I think of it.
Does this have anything to do with your unit's new mission now? It used to be domestic, now it's anywhere?
Well, basically, yeah, we're part of that element now. I mean, going towards that element more as, like I said, more like the regular Army, I should say. I mean, as far as being, if we get called up wherever we need to go, we'll be doing our jobs wherever it's at. So we're pretty much on that. Like I said, the fence been lifted, so we're not pretty much locked in into the Sea Smurf mission no more. So that's our mission now. So just like the rest of the Army. So.
Okay. 10 years later,
Mm-hmm.
people can still remember what they were doing on 9/11, what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
What was happening in your
Actually, I came home from class because, like I said again, my NCOs made sure I went to school. I came home from class, and when I was watching TV, and it was early in the morning. Actually, I didn't come home from class. I was already home from class, but it was early in the morning. I was cutting on the TV, and basically, I seen it happen, and everything changed from that moment on. So, I mean, I was just sitting in my living room. I thought it was a movie. I thought I was actually watching a movie, and when I seen it wasn't a movie, I just was in a standstill. So,
some people would call that a watershed moment. Is this a watershed moment in your life?
What you mean? Where I wanted to cry, or is that what you mean by that?
You mentioned everything changed. How did things change for you?
The whole military changed. The whole Army changed. The world changed. That was a big event. Everything changed. Everything. Whereas at the time I was at Fort Stewart, I was a specialist. I believe I was a specialist. Like I said, I went to school at night. I woke up coming home from school, and I woke up and about to fix me a bowl of cereal. I think it was about to eat a bowl of cereal and cut on the TV, and I seen it, thought it was a movie, and it wasn't. So I say everything changed for it. The first thing I can remember was getting that call saying we had to come to work, and everything's just chaotic. It was so crazy. Whereas the post, it was security there, but it was really, really secure. Like it took forever to get on. I lived off post at the time, and it took forever for me to get on post. It took at least about a good 6 hours just for me to get to the gate and get on post.
How far away did you live?
I lived about 3 miles away.
3 miles away,
Yeah.
and it took 6 hours
Yes.
to get on.
Yes. And that's the main gist of that first day when I remember. Everything just changed. It just changed. The Army changed like overnight. So.
What was your first reaction?
Actually, I was just frozen. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that happened. I couldn't believe it. I was frozen. And then I got mad, and then I got the call to come to work. So, yep.
What were you thinking about when you came to work? What was going through your mind?
I can't believe they did that. That's the first thing I thought about. What are we gonna do to get them back? To be honest, basically that's all I thought about.
Did you think about maybe revenge or something like?
Well, I mean, I was just thinking about what we're going to do to get them back. If you want to call that revenge, I mean, I was thinking what we're going to do to get them back. That's what I was thinking about. That was the only thing on my mind at the time. So. Okay.
I want to talk about your career a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked a little bit. I want to see, what is your definition of a careerist?
A career enlistment?
A careerist, someone who's been in the Army.
Forever? I mean, 20 years or more is a career person to me. I mean, once you serve one day, you always have my respect. I don't care. Like, you serve one day in the Army, as one day than a lot of people do. So it don't matter whether you made it a career like 20 years or not, you always have that bond from me. But I say a person who made it a career, a person who's been in it 20 years or more, you know. So.
You've been in the Army a long time.
Well, yeah.
Do you consider yourself a career?
I'm gonna be one. Yeah, I'm not going nowhere. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, 20 years or more. Yeah, that'll be me.
Okay. How come?
I love what I do. I mean, I love the Army. To be honest, I love it. I love it. I mean, every aspect of it, for everything, the discipline, the PT, the camaraderie you have with your people, your peers, the training. I mean, it's nothing like it. I mean, it's just nothing like it. And when I was on recruiting and I did that, I couldn't stand it. You know, I mean, I did my job because that's what I was asked to do, but it was different. You know, I mean, just being around the soldiers in general, like I can't see myself not being around them. Not at this point. Maybe it might change in 6 years, 6 more years I had to go, 7 more years, 8. But right now, it's nothing like it. I don't know where I'd be without the Army, so I love it.
Can you briefly describe the Army's promotion process?
Yeah, basically from private, PV1, PV2, PFC, the specialist. It's pretty much anywhere ranging. You'll get PV2 in 6 months, PFC, private first class, you'll get there in 18 months, and you'll become a specialist in 26 months. So them for promotion is automatic. For a sergeant, E5, where a sergeant, you have to go to a board. For that, and a staff sergeant, you have to go to a board, which is E6. And you perform good on the board, and they take in your education for your military education, your civilian education, so you have to go to school to get promoted. So it works on a point scale, and your PT, your weapons, they look at all that, and they decide whether you get promoted to sergeant or staff sergeant. Now, when you're a sergeant first class and above, it's pretty much your DA look at your board packet, whereas your NCOERs, your non-commissioned officer evaluation rating system, that's how we get rated, like pretty much like our report card. They look at that and they say whether you held the positions you need to hold, whether you've been a good non-commissioned officer. They look at your photo, seeing whether you're in shape, whether you took the PT test, and they vote, and they have a vote on who they pick to be a sergeant first class and above. So that's how pretty much it is in a nutshell.
What's the board process like?
The first one, you're nervous, you know. I mean, because you never know what to expect. I know my first one was nervous. I went to Fort Stewart. I went at Fort Stewart, and I was nervous. Basically, but they try to calm you down, you know, have you sing the division song, the Dogface Soldier song, and basically try to lighten the mood. And then they just ask you a bunch of questions you should know anyway. You've been taught the questions that they ask from your first day of basic training. You know them, and just so nervous that whereas you sometimes get tongue-tied. So, but basically that's it. A lot of nervousness, you know, and then you get asked questions you should know about your job related and everything about your weapon and the unit itself. So unit history. So, yeah.
What was your first board like?
Nervous. I was nervous. I think I messed the missed the facing movement because they have you march just to look at your uniform and seeing if everything's sewed on correctly or whatever. I think he told me left face. I made a right face, so I was real nervous. But once he had me sing the Dog Face Soldier song, which is Third Infantry Division song, I calmed down and the rest of the board went smooth after that.
Okay. Sounds good. Now, you applied for warrant officer school, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you describe that process?
Basically, I was on recruiting, and one of my, the person who I said was my mentor. He wanted me to do it. Me, I really didn't have it. I really didn't want to do it in my heart, but I promised him that he said I need to look into it and I need to do that because it'll just be better for his retirement, career down the line. So he said it's something I need to look into. So I kept putting it off and kept putting it off. And then one day I decided, he bugged me enough to where, like I said, my supervisor, I took what he said serious. I put in the packet. And by the time I put it in, though, was that it was overstrength in what I was getting looked at for. So it was too late, but I mean, I did it. So.
Okay. So you really didn't.
I really wasn't. I love being a non-commissioned officer. I really didn't want to be a warrant officer because, like I said, the more bars or you have for as officers, and it's different. You know, it's a lot different with soldiers. The non-commissioned officers work around the soldiers. We're like one with the soldiers. The commissioned officers, they be with the soldiers, but it's more like they tell us their guidelines, what they want us to do, and we execute it pretty much. But we more hands-on with the soldiers than them, and you lose a lot of hands-on experience when you start going the officer route, any officer.
What's your favorite part about being an NCO?
I'm just basically working with soldiers and seeing them make some of the mistakes you made when you was younger and trying to help them improve on them. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. Trying to help them improve and be better because you see the potential there and you understand where your non-commissioned officer at one time was looking at you and said, "There's so much potential, you just need to straighten up," and you basically doing the same thing with them. So I look at that like it's amazing how that works full circle when you, but it do. So that's it.
Is there a particular moment in your career that you found satisfying, the pinnacle of your achievement kind of thing?
To be honest, when I made Sergeant First Class, I did not picture me being a senior non-commissioned officer. I did not. Because I just knew I was getting out in 3 years. 3 years was the plan. Me and the wife discussed before in 3 years, like I said, I didn't join really to make it a career. I joined to see things and experience things and more of a discipline aspect. I was kind of a knucklehead. So once I got that down packed, I thought I was gone. I was about to get out, you know. So everything changed, though. So it changed. I put on, before I got out, was thinking about getting out. I pinned on stripes, and everything changed. Like when I became a non-commissioned officer, everything changed. So I looked at it different. Everything was changed. So I decided to stay in. I enlisted to go to Germany with my wife. You know, she wanted to go to Germany, wanted to travel some more. You know, and wanted to see country, you know, another country. So I chose to do that. So, yeah. Did
promotion to sergeant change your outlook on the Army?
Yeah, it did. It did. Because I understood, like, once I got promoted, like I was saying earlier, I understood what a non-commissioned officer was talking about. It's a lot of work, you know. When you got your soldiers, it's not about you at all. It's about the soldiers, you know. And like I said, they learning everything from you, the good and the bad, you know. And I didn't understand that when I was a soldier myself. I did a little bit, but I was just had in my mind state, well, I'm getting out, you know, so I'm going to be a soldier, but after I get out, I'm just getting out, so I'm just coming in, I'm going to get out, do my time and get out. But I started looking at it different when I put on stripes because, like I said, it's not about you. It's all about how you motivating them soldiers and getting them to do the job and showing them the right thing to do. So my whole outlook changed. So.
Okay. You've had let me ask you now about a low point in your career.
Mm-hmm.
Anything particularly bad happen?
There's one incident that happened when I was in Afghanistan. I lost a soldier, so That's probably the lowest I've ever been ever. Yeah, that was a bad day. So yeah.
We'll come back to that. Let's talk about recruiting.
Yep.
You were an Army recruiter.
Yeah.
In Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Right. Now you were stationed there.
Yeah, I was. I left Fort Irwin. I got back from Afghanistan, and I came down. I looked at my ass, which is a assignment. They tell you where you're going to next. I wanted to stay at Fort Irwin. I didn't want to go nowhere. I mean, we just got back, and I was on leave at the time in Cincinnati, and I checked my AKO, which is Army Knowledge Online, our email system pretty much for the Army, and I seen that I was on orders to go to recruiting school. I was mad. I was frustrated.
So you were selected.
Yeah, I was DA selected. I was mad.
And you definitely did not want to.
Nah, I was a staff sergeant at the time. I didn't want to do recruiting. I wanted to do what I was doing, for as being a maintenance supervisor. I didn't want to leave, I was happy. I was content. Pretty much, it's like starting over. It was like doing something brand new, like starting all over again, and I didn't want to do that pretty much. Probably because I'm scared. I don't know. But at the time, I really was comfortable with what I just did, what I was doing. Just got back from Afghanistan. So I was thinking, like, well, I'll be here for at least 3 more years at Fort Irwin, California. I like the area. I did not want to leave, and really I wasn't there because I was gone. I was only there for 2 years, and one of the years I was gone. So, I mean, but, hey, it happened.
Okay. How does the Army determine its manpower needs in wartime?
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure they just look at what they need at the time and draw from what they need. I would say the regular Army, and then go back, whether they need reserves, the Guard, and everybody else, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know how they really look at it. I just say it's a priority, I guess. I know we have, for as deployments, we have we got what we call drill time. How long you've been deployed, how long it's been since you've not been deployed. So I would say they look at that for its priority, where they look at your next assignment, sending you to a deployable unit. Excuse me, but that's about, I would say they look at that, but besides that, I really don't know.
Okay. What is your opinion of Army recruitment policies?
That's another thing. It's in itself, it made me mad, to be honest, because there was a lot of policies that I didn't agree with. As far as, I'm gonna give you an example, one of the policies, like the tattoos on your neck. Mm-hmm. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I mean, even though you're soldiers, I don't agree you should have tattoos on your neck. You can have tattoos, but not visible, because like you represent the Army, so it shouldn't be that visible. I mean, why you have tattoos on your neck? And we start letting soldiers come in with that, and right there, I knew things was changing, for the standards, because regardless of, it's still about standards and looking professional and everything else with that. So I say that's a non-professional look when you have a tattoo going across your neck. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I mean, but, or a tattoo on your hands, it's not a good look. You have tattoos, as long as they cover, when you're in a uniform, they cover. I believe in that. I don't believe in not having tattoos. I got tattoos myself. So, but just were they visible when you're in a uniform? I don't agree with that. So.
What's the significance of your tattoos?
Actually, I got them when I was young. I'm thinking about getting them removed because, to be honest with you, I was young and stupid. To be honest, I believe my kids. I'm gonna tell them if it left up to me, they wouldn't have tattoos. But I know once they're gonna get grown, at 18, and they probably have some. But I was stupid. Like if I had probably my dad around, I probably wouldn't have them right now. So
are recruitment standards more stringent or less stringent?
I say it's getting back to it. It's getting back to be more stringent. But before, when I was out there, it was you gotta look at it. It was part of the surge. So it's a lot of things, in my opinion, that they let in the Army that shouldn't been in the Army, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion. Just just different people in general. Like I said, the tattoos, like I can't understand why they would let that slide. That's a policy they changed, and they're looking at reviewing that, going back and actually stopping that, for the tattoos and a couple other things. Whereas, because it's our job as recruiters to list all the medical issues a soldier or a civilian coming to say, you come to my office, my job to list all your medical issues. So you telling me what you may have, but I'm not the final authority. They go to MEPS, Military Entries and Processing Station, where you go join the Army, and the doctor decides whether or not they're going to grant you a waiver to come in. And to me, they let some of these people in who shouldn't have been in the first place, because if they medically had something wrong with them. But the doctor, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Maybe they was good. I don't know, but it's just my opinion. I say it wasn't like that when I came in. You couldn't pretty much have nothing, no traffic tickets, of course, but no serious offenses, like minor in possession of tobacco and all that. I think we had that now, but DUIs, that's a serious offense. And we're letting people in with DUIs and a couple DUIs, like if you drunk on operating a vehicle, then you got soldiers' lives in your hand. I don't agree with that, So you couldn't get in when I came in with that. So that was eliminator any DUI, one DUI. But now we saying as long as you don't have two in a consecutive 3-year period, you can have two, but one got to be outside the 3-year window. That's not.
So let's expand on this a little bit. The Army will let people in that have had DUIs, but once you're in and you get a DUI, especially as an NCO,
right, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
I don't know. I don't know what it say. I really don't have no opinion of it one way or the other, but it made me upset a little bit because to me, for that aspect, we need to tighten that up. We shouldn't let them in to begin with. We gotta stop it right there. And it starts with recruiting, and you see a lot of that from the top. That's how you know, in my opinion, how the Army is shifting. Cause I seen how the Army was shifting when out of people that we let in, So, like I said, I'm not the final approving authority for his waiver. If you meet all the qualifications, say you got medical issues, and I see you down there and they give you a waiver, I ain't nothing I can do about that. You qualify, you in the Army, But it's just my personal opinion. Some of these things they need to really look at, because eventually it's going to cost everybody more money, in my opinion, because you're training somebody who really shouldn't be in the Army, and some of the stuff that they do outside in the civilian world, we need to look at the same way. Some of the jobs, you can't even get some jobs like that, but you got soldiers' lives in your hand, or you're a soldier yourself, and you got a soldier your left and right depending on you, and you ain't really soldier material, to be honest. So everybody can't do it, So I think they going back to that now, but knowing the mistakes that they did, I think they trying to fix some of that. So
was there pressure to get people?
To be honest, yes, a lot of pressure doing this. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the most stressful jobs I ever did in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Outside of even war, it's more pressure.
More pressure as a recruiter
Yep.
than being in combat?
Yep.
How come?
Because it's never satisfied. It's that aspect, never satisfied. We all got different missions on how many people we supposed to put in, how many future soldiers we supposed to put in the Army, but they're never satisfied. They always want more, or you got one more, or you could put in one more, you could put in another one. It's never enough, and you hearing that, and then when you don't make it, because they're only sending people for recruit. Everybody can't be a recruiter. You pretty much you gotta been a good NCO, but when you get out there and you don't make this mission, they treat you like you was a bad NCO, like you was a dirtbag, or you're failing the Army. We need people to replace the soldiers they have downrange. You hear this all the time. So, it's just it's a lot of aspect, and it's a lot of pressure, but hopefully they fixed it. I know when I was leaving, they was trying to reorganize it, whereas they were saying instead of you working every weekend a month, they were trying to at least give you 2 weekends to spend with your family. They was trying to make sure that At 5 o'clock, you get off at 5 unless it's something very, very important. So it was improving. And I call back and check on the guys who still out there who actually converted and made themselves recruiters permanently, switched their MOSs, and basically they said it got better. Their mission have scaled back because I guess we're overstrength now. So with that, it's probably a good time to be on recruiting right now. Actually, they're overstrength for recruiters, so they really don't need as many recruiters as they needed back then. But when I was out there, it was very stressful.
So let's pause for just a second while we change the disc. I'm sorry. Okay.
So we're talking about recruiting
Mm-hmm.
with Sergeant First Class. Should I call you Sergeant First Class Walton or First Sergeant Walton?
No, you can be Sergeant First Class.
The ratio of women to men in the Army is about 15%.
Mm-hmm.
The unit that you're in now, what is the male-female ratio?
I can really pretty much count on my hands how many we have in the company.
In the whole company?
Roger.
How many do you have?
And it's like, I say 9.
Really?
Yeah. So we about 124 right now, probably 9 females. If that many, I might be, I'm just thinking at the top of my head, probably not that many. It might be a little bit less than that.
Is it different, do you believe, being a leader in a unit with females as opposed to?
not like I said, me personally, again, the Army do a good job for us that it's you're a soldier. It's not you a male, you a female, you a soldier. And you're going to do the same thing with everybody else doing. Every soldier skill is no difference because you're a male or a female, you're a soldier. So that's how we look at things. So.
Do you think one makes a better soldier than the other, or are they?
Nah, I started with males and females. Like my whole military career been like that, except basic. My basic was all male at Fort Knox. They did not have no females in basic training. But after basic training, I've been around females all the time. I don't think one is better than the other. I don't think one have more qualities than another. I believe they both are equal, and that's how the Army train us. Like you a soldier regardless. So that's how it is.
In some basic trainings, they've integrated males and females. Do you think that's working?
Oh yeah. They should. I say all basic training should be like that now. You know, I don't see you go to the units and there's no difference. So they're there. So you start at the earliest point.
Okay. I'd like to ask you some other questions about some other units and combat and deployment.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to some of that. You were assigned to the First Division in Germany in 2003.
Right.
And what unit was that?
It was a 601st maintenance company, aviation support battalion. It wasn't maintenance, aviation support battalion. Well, we did maintenance. It was pretty much their maintenance company.
Maintenance on what?
On everything. A slice of us was maintenance on helicopters, aircraft. The rest of us was maintenance on trucks, air conditioning, whatever your MOS was, but pretty much all maintenance aspects.
Okay. What concern were you at?
I was on Cotabach concern.
Did you like it there?
I loved it. Ansbach, I loved it. Ansbach community, the town area, but Cotabach concern. Mm-hmm.
What did you like about it?
Just the people, the place in itself. Germany is beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a lot of scenery, good scenery. I felt it was never no trash. I never actually seen no trash on the roads or nothing. It was clean. Like it's just, I don't know. It's a feeling you get when you drive. A lot of green. I mean, it's beautiful. So, I mean, that's mainly the best part about it was the scenery. I love the scenery.
Do you have a favorite food or favorite drink from there?
I like the beer a little bit. The beer was good. You know, it's different. It's different, and the taste of the beer was good. But as far as the food, I ate a lot of the food. They had this steak with cracker butter. I don't know if you been to Germany before?
I have.
All right, but it's butter, and it's real good steak. This butter that they use on the steak. So I pretty much like that. It's like cracker butter or something like that. I probably ain't saying it right, but.
Can you spell it?
No.
Okay. Was there anything else different about Germany from the U.S.?
They just, as far as them, they seem to be more I know for their driving, you had to be 21 to get a license. You actually had to pay to go to school to get their driving license. It's more of like they treat it as more as it wasn't like you're right. It's more like you had to earn it for driving privileges. It wasn't just given to you. Like you had to really earn, and you had to go to a class for like 2 years just to drive. So they drive. They got some of the fastest. The Autobahn is fast, so, but it's they have a lot of, it's some accidents, but I know it's not as many as we have in the States, and it's probably because they go to a 2-year class before they even get their license. So, in that aspect it was different, but just the whole culture was different. It was just different.
Did you drive on the Autobahn?
Oh yeah, I drove on. Yeah.
What kind of vehicle?
I had a little Cavalier. It was nothing. I would always stay in the right hand lane. It was not fast at all. So.
Did you dislike anything about being in Germany?
No. It was an experience. My wife loved it. I loved it. So, yeah, my son was born there. I have no regrets at all being in Germany.
Okay. How much of the First ID lineage and history did you learn?
I learned a lot because I used to go to boards for this, actually NCO the year board, and I actually won it. So I knew a lot then, but it's been a couple years. So, I don't know. I know some of it.
Would you consider that you were well integrated?
When I got to Germany?
You got to Germany?
Yeah.
What did they do? Did they sponsor you?
Oh, yeah. I had a sponsor even before I left, before I even left the States. And he met me actually when we got there, because you arrived there, you go to Frankfurt. And me and my wife, she was pregnant, and we stayed in like the barracks at Frankfurt. And once we left there, we was there for 2 days, and we actually caught a bus to Ansbach. And my sponsor was there to meet up with us and take us around, show us around, because your vehicle's not there. So he's showing you the concern and where you're going to be work at. And yeah, it was a good time. So.
How was deployment with the First ID different from deployment with other units?
Okay. Well, it was different because the other unit I went to Afghanistan for number one, and I went to Iraq with the First Infantry Division. So it was different for the aspect, and again it was different because there was OIF 2, and we learned so many different things by the time I made it to OEF 7 in Afghanistan. So it's just different times, pretty much different times and different places. So I know that's not probably. I don't know what, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, to be honest.
You deployed with the First ID in 2003?
In 2004. 2004, the year 2004. 2003, I arrived there, but 2004, actually, the whole year 2004 came back. Deployed 2004 February, came back February 2005. Okay.
Was the training a little bit different?
Basically, to be honest, it was kind of rough, to be honest. To start off, we were supposed to go to OIF 1, but Turkey, they want to let us go. So that put us on hold. So all our equipment was going for 3 months and came back messed up. Everything was messed up, everything. So all the equipment we had to deploy, we were sitting around for 3 months, really not doing nothing because Turkey wouldn't let us in there. So when our equipment came back, it came back damaged, stolen. So we had to start from ground zero. So we took the next, I say about 8 months, reordering everything, getting everything ready to go for OIF 2. So we started off kind of bad, so, and then we loaded up for OIF 2, getting our stuff ready to go, and we was ready to go for that. But we were supposed to be there in OIF 1. We were supposed to left on the first with the first, when Third Infantry Division was there. We were supposed to come through Turkey, and all our stuff was on a boat and ready to go, and some worked out, but Turkey didn't want us to let us in there, so things changed.
Where did the equipment go?
Actually, it went to a shipyard. It went to I forgot the name of it right now. I don't know, but actually it was on boats ready to go. It was just at the harbor, waiting to go. But by the time it made it back up to us, because we railhead used the trains, to put our equipment on. And by the time it made it back up, it was stuff missing and everything damaged. It was just, we had to start all over again. Had to order more stuff and get everything ready. So that was kind of
How were
crazy.
things secured on the way down in preparation?
You saying for that part, or
On the
when we
railhead?
actually went to RF2?
Before you actually went to Iraq?
Oh yeah, it was secured. It was tightly secured with the chains, everything, the proper things, what you supposed to do, mounted and everything. So I mean, it was secured properly. It just, I don't know whether somebody, like, on the way it was coming back or whatever, they cut the chains. I don't know what happened, to be honest with you, but I just know it came back all damaged, messed up, and spray painted on. I don't know. It was bad. It was bad. A lot of equipment was damaged. So and so, like I said, 3 months we were expecting and kept getting the word, we're going to leave. And so we were acting a lot, and we didn't leave, and it was basically around not having no equipment, not having nothing really to do, just for 3 months straight. Then we finally got our equipment back, fixed what we could, and had to resupply and get more equipment just to go to OIF2 with. So, yeah.
So you kept getting information that you were going to deploy.
Right.
And it kept changing
Right.
often.
Right.
And didn't have the supplies.
Right. It didn't happen. Right.
What happened? How did that affect the unit?
Well, the unit got frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. Just like with everything else, you tell soldiers that they're leaving this day, they expect to leave that day, and it just affected them. It wasn't nobody's fault, they tried, but we couldn't go. Turkey wasn't letting us through, so ain't nothing nobody could do about it. But it was a lot of frustration around there. So, yeah.
Did it stress you out?
I was mad. I was pretty pissed off because, like I said, you packing up all your stuff, you ready to go, you kissing the wife and hugging your son, telling me about to leave, and you don't leave, you come back, you spend another day, and then just to do it all over again, So kind of that aspect, I got kind of frustrated, but hey, it comes along the job.
How did you guys deal with frustration?
Well, pretty much, like I said, we just stayed together as a unit. We got more time to bond. It wasn't nothing else we could do, so we just came together closely as a unit, and then when our stuff started coming back, we started going to the field more and actually prepping. We went to Hornsfield and Amberg and started prepping for the actual deployment. So that brought us back together close again. And then right before that, we went on block leave for about 20 days. We spent with the family before. So in all aspects, it is kind of like a blessing in a way, because if we were left the first time, it's a lot of things that, whereas you wouldn't spend as much time with your family like we did before, and we got extra training in. That's always good, We was actually trained extra, than more training than what we had before. So actually, in a way, it was a blessing. So.
Okay. You also deployed later with another unit?
Right. I deployed in Fort Irwin, the 699th Maintenance Company to Afghanistan, 2006, February 2006 to February 2007.
Okay. And how was that different? How was the preparation different?
Well, it was different all the way for me because I was a staff sergeant at the time. I wasn't a sergeant. I was a staff sergeant. I had went to school, and I went to school, BNOC, military school when you get promoted staff sergeant. So basic non-commissioned officer school. That's what it stands for. Officer course. I'm sorry. But basically, I went to BNOC, and when I got back, I had to go through training. I really didn't know nobody. It was like I was just getting to the unit, so the cohesion wasn't all the way there for me. I mean, they was pretty tight, before, because I think there was only like 3 other people besides me who came in at the time, but for deployment. So I had to get closer to them while we training and getting prepared. So it was kind of adjustment for me. Whereas before with Iraq, I already knew everybody, and I didn't have to bond, get more bonding or whatever. It helped, that we didn't go, but I already knew everybody before, because we was together for a couple years. But this time I actually had to bond a little bit more with everybody, and that's doing training. So that's how it was a major difference. So, and also like when Iraq, we convoyed from Kuwait to Iraq. This time for Afghanistan, we flew from from Kuwait to Afghanistan to Bagram airfield. So different from that was different. So
when you were in Germany, how did you get from Germany to Iraq?
We flew.
You flew
into
Iraq?
Yeah, we flew into Kuwait.
Okay, both times there.
Yeah, we flew into Kuwait, convoy from Kuwait to Iraq.
Oh, okay.
And then Afghanistan, we flew into Kuwait, and then we flew into Afghanistan.
Okay.
So that was the major difference.
Is flying better?
Yeah, I mean to me, it is. I mean, anytime you don't have to deal with the road and fatigue and IEDs, and it's always better to fly. I mean, of course you still get attacked when you fly too. I mean, I guess RPGs, so you have to watch out for. But yeah, flying a little bit better.
Okay. Last month, 3 soldiers from the 4th MEB died in Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know them at all?
I didn't know them personally, no.
Okay. How did you take the news when you found out?
It's sad. Like I take all the news, every news. It's not just from the 4th MEB, but any news every time I hear about a soldier dying, it's sad. I mean, it's sad. That's pretty much,
In 2005, the Army authorized the Combat Action Badge,
Mm-hmm.
and you were awarded this, correct?
No.
No.
No. I was put in for. I wasn't awarded though. No, I didn't get it. It was kind of. I ain't gonna talk about that, but no, I didn't get one. No.
So were you in a combat situation?
Yeah, I was in a couple, but back then, how can I put this? It wasn't. It's just like initially when we first started, they really wasn't putting people in for awards. You actually. I mean, whether you got in a conflict or whatever, I don't know. It wasn't. They just wasn't. Combat Action Badge wasn't awarded back then. I mean, you could go back and during that time period and put in soldiers for one, but I was an NCO at the time. I really didn't harp on whether I got a Combat Action Badge or not. I didn't really care about that stuff. It's not
important to you?
Not at all. Not at all. So it's not something that we always had the option when we got back or to write it up, or have our supervisor write it up or what happened. But it's not like I was a non-commissioned officer. It don't matter to me. Like if the soldiers, it's more for them. I say for that. I made sure my soldiers had it, but for me, I didn't care. Like I mean, I didn't need a Combat Action Badge to know that I was in combat. So it's just one of them things,
What happened?
Well, what happened with what?
During combat?
Which?
Well, let me start with a mission. What were you doing?
Well, basically, like the convoy from Kuwait to Iraq is kind of rough. It's a couple. I mean, it's a couple things, Afghanistan, a couple incidents got kind of rough. I mean, basically everything with me and my element. I'm not the one kicking in no doors, searching. I mean, that's not my job. That's more infantry. I'm a mechanic, but as being a mechanic, you got to go on convoys. As being one of the senior mechanics, whereas I have to go on convoys to fix air conditioners, to fix these things. Yeah, you see certain stuff, and I mean, it's a couple incidents, things happening, but I mean, nothing. Whereas, well, I ain't gonna say nothing, but it's a couple incidents with some things happen, but it's nothing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you.
Were any of your convoys attacked?
Yeah.
What kind of an attack?
Well, one, and there's one in particular. I'll talk about one. I was in Afghanistan. We was convoying, and basically, Afghanistan is different from Iraq in a sense that whereas they don't use they use IEDs, but they more straightforward. They try to use the barriers, try to block you in, and try to fight you for is that. And so it started with I guess one convoy before us had went through, and it was calm. It wasn't nothing, and then our convoy was coming through, and they started with rocks, just hitting our trucks with rocks and trying to break the glass and and then they were setting up a barrier to try to trap us, and so we weaving around the barrier, picking up the pace because they unarmed, so we wasn't going to shoot at them, they was unarmed, but they kept being hostile and throwing stuff and trying to disrupt the convoy and keep putting things out. So we just kept weaving it and going through it. I mean, it wasn't nothing whereas we had to shoot or none of that. No, I didn't have to shoot during that time.
What kind of things did they put up as barriers?
These big rocks or boulders or whatever you want to call them. I mean, it's just obstacles to try to prevent you to stop and, but it wasn't no weapon. I didn't see nobody with no weapon. We just weaved around it and kept moving. I mean, it wasn't they throwing big boulders or hitting our vehicles and smashing them, but it was nothing we had to shoot on, no.
What kind of a vehicle were you in?
I was in a Humvee,
Was it
up on a Humvee, 1119.
1119?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Humvee with the ceramic armor plates?
Yeah, it's up armored Humvee.
Okay. Did you feel safe in it?
Oh yeah. They didn't even print it. They wasn't even. It was. I mean, to be honest, it was nothing. I'm happy. It was just that. I mean, they didn't have no. I mean, because we had a lot of weapons. Our gunners was at the ready, so it would have been. I'm happy they didn't have weapons because it wouldn't have been. But on that incident, it was just. Yeah, I felt real safe. It wasn't nothing they could have did to penetrate that. It's with rocks and boulders and. That's one of the incidents that I had, so, yeah.
What were some other incidents?
Well, it was more of the other incidents, whereas happens on the FOB, more mortar attacks. One incident I could just talk about Afghanistan. Iraq is really, I can remember what happened in Iraq, but not to detail. I mean, I remember Afghanistan better because that was the most recent, so. Our FOB got attacked, and it was a bad night. I'd say it was about during the July time frame, July 7th, somewhere around there. And our FOB got attacked, and mortars came in, and we had to send out a recon team to go actually search them for them to see where they was or whatever. But basically, and that's pretty much it. Like a gym right next to me was about maybe about a mile and a half away, got hit, and we just had to calm the soldiers down, tell them we got in our bunkers, make sure everything was good, and if something did go off, we would have had to defend ourselves. But luckily, the recon team got out there, seen who it was, and handled it the way it's supposed to be handled. So.
But you were not a part of the recon?
No, I wasn't. No, I'm not. I'm maintenance. I'm not. No.
How much time did you spend on the FOB?
To be honest, in Iraq, I spent majority of the time, a lot of the time on the FOB. Besides the first 3 months, I was QRF, a quick reactionary force. And then after that, I stayed on the FOB. Besides the last month, whereas I had to convoy to Anaconda to take our vehicles there. Now, when I was in Afghanistan, I was going all the time. It was different places I had to go because I had to do a lot of air conditioning work at different places. I felt like sometimes I was like the only air conditioning mechanic in Afghanistan, but I went everywhere pretty much. Convoys, by helicopters, by everywhere. So by Chinook, everywhere. So I was never there. I would say I probably on my FOB, I probably spent about maybe 2 months out of the year. So I was always gone. So, yeah.
Did you experience more activity in Afghanistan?
Than Iraq?
Than Iraq, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going more. It was rough in Iraq too, but experienced more little pop shots, and it's crazy. But yeah, more in Afghanistan than Iraq. Yeah.
What kind of pop shots?
Where they shooting at the vehicles or whatever. I mean, they teach us to push through. I mean, if it's nothing major and you can't really identify the target, you just push through and keep going. So.
Would these be snipers or just random?
I don't know what. I don't know. I mean, if they were snipers, then on that day we didn't get hit, then nobody get hit. So luckily for that, So, but just damaging the equipment. So, but they just tell us push through. So we went through them a couple times, but besides that. No.
Did things like that happen often whenever you convoyed?
Majority of the times, yeah. That and mortars on the fob, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The First ID pioneered the after-action review in World War I. You participated in some of these, is that correct?
And what was that?
After-action reviews?
Oh, yeah, yeah, all the time,
Post-deployment?
yeah.
How many of you participated in?
They always ask us what we could have done better, so every time we come back, we all leaders participate in it. So,
Is this a small unit activity, or is this like the whole company?
whole company. It's broken down in sections, like soldiers, leaders, different positions on what you did or who you are. So yeah, we do it all the time. So yeah, it just broke off as small group elements, and then it's collectively get all the information and go over it.
Did you ever see the final product?
At that time, no, I didn't. I mean, it was higher above me at that time. No, I just hear like they're taking in consideration of how we can improve, and that's what they did. So,
Were you ever able to implement things at your level? Things that happen, things that you...
oh yeah, all the time. I mean, that's a daily thing, for as what you see or how to do something better. Like that's every day. So yeah, all the time.
How much flexibility would you say you would have in given a mission? How much flexibility are you given by the Army to accomplish your mission? You have to follow an order to the letter.
Well, no, basically, long as you get the mission accomplished, and the first thing is safety. Don't put nobody in harm's way. Don't do nothing that's it's unconstitutional, of course, and I mean, pretty much just make it happen, make the mission happen. I mean, you got all the flexibility as a non-commissioned officer. You supposed to, they don't tell you how to think. They just tell you to accomplish this task. It's your job to come up with the plan to accomplish it, so that's pretty much how it works. It's not dictated, well, you would do this, follow these steps no, it don't work like that. As long as you ain't putting your soldiers or yourself at harm or the unit at harm and you're accomplishing the mission. That's pretty much it.
You're authorized to wear different unit insignias of former wartime service.
Mm-hmm.
Which is your preferred?
First Infantry. First Infantry, yeah.
This is what's called a combat patch.
Mm-hmm.
Why this one?
Because it's my first one. It's the one I learned the most from. So, the first experience. Yeah, that's why. Pretty much.
Are you proud of having served in that unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of history.
Have you ever been told by people in other units to switch patches?
No. It's whatever you choose to wear. I mean, as long as you was assigned that patch, I mean, you can wear whatever patch you want to wear. No, I never was told to switch no patch.
I've heard that's happened sometime in other units.
But I don't know. I ain't never been in no unit.
Okay. So what was the first thing you noticed about Iraq that was different from Afghanistan, or vice versa?
Well, pretty much in Iraq, it's more flat. It's not as hilly. It's not as the terrain is rougher in Iraq. I mean, in Afghanistan, and then just the people in general. Afghanistan, like I said, they more. In Iraq, you hardly ever got any engagement of people. Like whereas for us trying to be hostile, you wouldn't run into that in Iraq. It's more IEDs, what you have to watch out for. More of that aspect, what you have to. But in Afghanistan, all the time, like it's the people you have to watch out for. Really, like it's a little bit more hostile, one-on-one. Like they really, I say, they try to fight back. The people is there. They don't use IEDs. They use them, but they also fight back. Also, they be there to fight you back. So that's the main difference out of the two.
Were there a lot of trust issues?
I say both of them about the same. To be honest, like I said, I was in OIF too. We was basically learning how to trust them, and they were learning how to trust us. I went to Afghanistan, same thing, you know. So I can't say one trust us more than the other, you know, about the same.
Were you ever able to eat any of the local food?
I didn't eat none of the local food. I was able to, but they said before that they look at that as hostile, but I didn't eat none. No, I didn't. No, I was able to, but I didn't eat it.
Did you not want to? Or?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't. No, I didn't eat it. No.
Any particular reason?
Just because it probably gave me diarrhea or something. Like not that it wasn't prepared right. I just thought about just out there and being deployment. Shoot, half the Army food I probably didn't eat out there neither. I ate a lot of MREs and stuff. I mean, just because the environment we was in, you know. So, I mean, I ate, but it's just a lot of food I just choose not to eat. So it ain't had nothing to do with them in particular, you know. It just I didn't want it. I mean, to be honest.
It sounds like the Iraqis you met and the Afghanis you met
Mm-hmm.
were both negative towards you being there. Is that kind of how you saw it?
Well, it depends. Like the people you met, like I said, we went to schools, and actually Convoy to School gave out supplies. They was real happy to see it. So I can't say that everybody like that was negative. And actually, in Afghanistan, the engineers actually was building roads and stuff for them, and the product of that, they was happy that they was doing that. So I can't say every aspect was negative. It's like anywhere else. You have some people who like you and some people who don't. I can't say that all I experienced was negative things from Afghanistan, the Iraqis and Afghanistan. I can't say that. So it was just mixed.
Some positive, some negative.
Yeah, some positive, some negative. I mean, but that's anywhere. It's any country. I mean, except Germany. Actually, I didn't have no bad experience in Germany.
Okay. What's the best thing that happened in Iraq to you?
Basically, the best thing, one of the best in Iraq. I seen the improvements where we came from when we first got there. Like I said, I seen the school get built. We actually visited the school and actually hand out supplies and kids in the school. So I mean, when you see that from the ground up, like that's the best thing can happen. I mean, in my opinion, I actually seen that. Also, for us as the military in general, we learned so much, whereas we got the equipment we needed and to help protect us better. So I seen that throughout that year, coming from didn't have nothing, no up armor, to whereas you couldn't even leave the wire unless you're in an up armored vehicle. So that improved. So I seen that improvement for Iraq. As far as Afghanistan, I seen whereas we was on the FOB for the military, we was on FOB Sharona, and we built that from the ground up. Like we was the first ones there. The FOB got built from the ground up, and I seen that improve. And for as helping the people, whereas like I said, they built the roads, and they actually was happy that the roads was being built for them and everything. So them the two major improvements from both.
So they did seem like they're happy that you were there and doing things.
Yeah. Like I said, you got good and bad people everywhere. You know, you got good people where you go, and you got bad people where you go. So yeah, they was happy with you.
What about in Afghanistan?
It's the same thing.
Same thing?
Same thing. It was no different for me. From how I looked at it, it was no different. I think it's about equal. Like I said before, same thing.
Okay. Afghan President Hamid Karzai has stated in the past that Pakistan was supporting the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
A few days ago, he remarked that his country would support Pakistan if they went to war with the U.S. What do you think about that?
I really don't have no comment on that. No comment at all.
No comment meaning no opinion?
No opinion. No opinion. That's why that's better. No opinion at all. No opinion.
No feeling about it? Or anything?
Yeah. No.
Okay. President Obama pledged to withdraw from Iraq by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's sincere, realistic promise?
I don't know. My honest opinion, I don't know. I don't know if it's really. I'm not over there right now, so I can't really say. You know, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it's going to happen, but I don't know whether it is or not. I mean, I don't know. I'm not there, so I don't know.
Do you think the Iraqis are ready for independence or not?
I mean, they improved. They came a long way. So, if it do happen, that's good. I mean, the people on the ground should know. I mean, I haven't been to Iraq since OIF 2. That was the only time I've been there. So, when I was there, that was the best time. I mean, I don't know.
We've talked a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay.
You have a unique opportunity to help civilians understand your world.
Mm-hmm.
If there were one thing that you would say that we haven't talked about, what one thing would you like to say?
To help them understand, like.
To help them understand.
All right. Well, basically, I say when you join the Army, you do your job. Whatever job it is, that's the job you pick. That's the job you do, and that's the job you're gonna be doing till you get out the Army. So whatever job, we have a variety of jobs. We're not just infantry. We're not just, everybody can't be infantry. Everybody can be field artillery. It's a lot of aspects that make up the military. It's just not one-sided on combat. I know a lot of people who always harness everything about combat. Well, you ain't combat, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing nothing. But every job is important, and we have a lot of jobs that's similar, to regular civilian jobs, but you in the Army, so a little bit different, But we have mechanics, we have supply, we have fuelers, we have truck drivers, we have pretty much all the jobs out there that in the civilian world, whereas need to function, we have in the Army. So, and every job is important. So, that's pretty much it.
Okay. If you were in charge and there were one thing about the Army you could change, what would it be?
I would change. We have to go back to the old discipline about how, basically, like I was saying before, we have to go back to really skilling when soldiers come in, and that recruiting officer making the standards harder to get in the Army. It shouldn't be easier. It should be hard to get in. So we have to really, because we'll get better soldiers and better quality of soldiers like that if we do that. So I say if I had to change that, that'd be the one thing I would change, is we have to go back to the old standards. That's it.
On behalf of myself, my family, and Ball State University, I'd like to thank you for coming in and talking with us, and thank you for your service.
All right.
And good luck to you in the future.
All right, thanks. Kind of long, huh?